The Lord of the Rings of Power, Season 2, Episode 7. A shocking kiss, a few plot twists, and the end of some of our favorite characters. And we're not even in the finale. Let's talk about it. Alright, guys, Brent here, back for Geek Variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. And as always, joined by Celebrant Boris Imagination. What did you think about Episode 7?
I thought it was great for leading up to season 3. I mean, not much else. Like we're getting into it where I want to say the star of everything was definitely Celebrimbor coming to his realization. That was the best part for me. That was my favorite part. Because again, what it takes to kind of get out of that and kind of figure that out. He's already a genius on the on the hammers and stuff like that, getting stuff done. But again, he's letting his mind work and figure out that something is not right. And he's been like this all along. But to see him actually kind of break that kind of trance was fantastic. So definitely enjoyed this episode for that mainly. And there's other things I did enjoy, but that was my highlight. So good episode, solid. 8, roughly getting up there to 9 because of how Anatar was acting. So I'm with it.
So I was gonna say the scene that he was discussing is that Celebrimbor slowly came to the realization he was trapped in a basically a time loop. Sauron or Anatar, for plainer terms, had basically put his entire room on loop, and Celebrimbor was slowly starting to piece things together. He used a either marker or chalk or something dark, and he marked a candle about an inch under, and then he started to track that at a certain point the embers would do a weird thing with the fire, and that there was a mouse that would continue to pop up in the center of the room, stand up on its haunches, go back down, and then saunter off. And it would just keep happening on loop. And he was able to kind of figure out, hey, I have an infinite time loop. What who prompted this? What caused this? And he was able to correctly and astutely point out Sauron slash Anatar is the one that caused all these problems. He put everyone in this terrible position, and it was interesting to see that Celebrimbor, like when he finally got broken out after he'd been arrested by his own people, you need to find better help, sir. That ultimately he had to hack off his own thumb once he finished the creation of the rings to ensure he was able to take them and try and escape out of Eregion with the rings, because he now realizes the danger that it would pose to have these magical and great creations sitting in Sauron's pockets. He doesn't want these things that the things that enslaved him to enslave basically everyone else around him, because he's like, I've seen the doom firsthand. I know what happens to me. If this happens to anybody else, I couldn't forgive myself. So he tries going this noble route. He tries to make this escape. And ultimately, Galadriel is the person that comes and saves him. There's a lot of key elements moving on in this. As you're talking about with Charlie Vickers' character, Anatar, boy, is he just acting his tail off this whole season. That man can straight up act. Was there anything about his deception or villainy in this episode that really stuck out for you?
All right. One that he kept trying to make it that like you're not feeling well, you're not right for that, and the fact is he kept turning on each other, turning everyone on each other. The fact is that he turned everyone against him, and now he was being referred to as the Lord of Region, was masterful in setting up everything, and Miradania, she even came to the point where she was so wholeheartedly like, yes, like you are unwell, and he has been taking care of us, the captain of the guard, which I didn't expect him to be too smart either. Freaking yeah, he's been taking care of us while you ain't been doing nothing. He's like, yo, I've been trapped, I'm telling y'all. Yeah, y'all not gonna believe me for nothing. Y'all not even gonna talk. Y'all just immediately gonna take him at face value when I tell you, yes, I've been trapped. Things that were said were not me. Things have not been right, and I'm free. Investigate, like, do something. But freaking, it got to the point where Miradanya still just kind of had to eat it because you made your bed, you sleep in it, and she's taking a long sleep. So
Yeah, because what
stuff
he was
happens.
alluding to is Mardania was basically Celebrimbor went to reach for her, which was initially how he got arrested in the first place. He went to reach for her to kind of be like, "Hey," try and at least I think shake her and be like, "Hey, believe me, believe in me." And when he went to reach for her, Sauron used his magic and went boop, and yeeted her right off the tower, lands her directly on the ground, 20 something feet below, which of course is, significant damage to her. But then an orc decided to finish the job just because. So much for humanizing them. They're doing a pretty good job of being villains. But also, as things kind of progress with this episode, we saw that the dwarves were basically asked for help. The elves came hat in hand. Were like, "Hey, please help. We need to make this whole thing work." And Narvi straight up heard what the king was talking about, what he's been going on, and went up to Durin and was like, "Look, we are with you 100%. The king has lost his mind. He's lost his marbles. He is greedy beyond belief. That ring is controlling him. He's not the man I followed. I'll follow you in whatever route you go." Durin decides he's going to go help his people, and he's going to, be like, "Cool, I'll answer the call for Elrond. I'll be there for him. I'll help. This is a battle for Middle Earth. This isn't like a battle for us. But like, if we don't take care of this threat now, these rings are going to continue to go further and further and further out until all the lands around us are infected. One person being alone against this great evil host is not really ideal odds." So he decided he was going to go out to war only for to come out find out like, "Cool, first light at the end of this battle, I'll be there. I will show up at first light." Well, first light comes and goes. No help has arrived. Unfortunately, the king has gone rogue and has started just knocking off his own kin. He is went down and took out a whole host of dwarves, injuring Narvi exceptionally because he was bleeding a lot.
He just cracked open.
Narvi took one for the team, was able to escape, talk to Durin, and be like, "Hey, your dad's gone mad. He attacked us in cold daylight. Like we are under siege. We need to go address this." So I'm assuming Durin's late dealing with that. But again, the major deaths that we saw is one Mordania, and then we also had a big battle where we had the giant troll against both Gilgalad, Elrond, and Arondir. Eventually, they came out with a huge dub because Gil-galad's glaive is beautiful, and his work with it.
He's nasty with that thing, boy.
He would be a pole arm master in Baldur's Gate 3 of the highest order, whooping everybody's butt because that glaive was doing some serious work, and he ended the troll, albeit with a huge amount of fight because he did not go down easily. He went down laughing like a lunatic, but hey. Then ultimately, we have Adar finally marching his troops onto the battlefield, and he's going directly full force against the elves, who are basically shaken at this point. And Arondir and Adar go 1v1. And I think in the cheapest way possible, Arondir just gets straight up grabbed by the shoulder and stabbed directly in the stomach by Adar. Do you think our boy will make it to the end of the season?
I think he'll make it to the end of the season. So with that, he was down but not out in the episode. So I do think he's going to get some get back. For Adar, I don't think Adar is going to last this season either. Um, I think he'll be done, and it will allow Sauron to kind of start figuring out his stuff and start taking care of the orcs. Because again, he's a master of deception, so he's going to show them what they want to see, make sure they're comfortable. Once Adar's out of the picture, then it's a lot easier for him to talk about, "I'm here to take care of you. I'm here to do what it is. I was, unjustly, you know, taken out,
Removed from the
so at that,
picture.
but I'm here to keep these promises and all sort of stuff." So that's kind of what I think is going with that. But I think Arondir is going to get up and go at it with Adar one more time and get some get back. And he's probably not going to survive the process, but he's going to get something out of this.
Because it was crazy for him to be talking about revenge the way he was early on in the season, and then for him to be talking about his revenge as blatantly as he was in this episode. It was like the script itself demanded in it, which I think is poor writing for his character. But again, I don't understand why you knock off one of your best actors for the series, considering he was the only one that was nominated for I believe, an Oscar last season for a supporting role in a series. So don't understand why now would be the time to go ahead and do it with such poor build up for it. So Arondir hopefully is continue to be with us And I think the orcs, that one orc in particular, the one with his family, I think is going to be the one that ultimately turns on Adar, and I think he's going to buy into Sauron's con because there sees there's some level of cracks in their friendship and the understanding between Adar and the Uruk. But again, that's a lot to discuss. The last thing that happened in this episode was Elrond went against Adar, and Adar again claimed yet another W. He's proven himself to be quite lethal on the battlefield, and he took the Ring of Power directly off of Elrond, who is now unconscious on the battlefield. So, not looking too good going into the next episode. We still have not seen the Balrog. There's still a couple key pieces left to see what we're going to do with Anatar, but I don't think I have too much else to discuss. Anything else from you, Will, for the folks?
Nah, that's it. We just got to go into the next episode. Battle is still continuing and seeing, what's going to happen. It is daylight now. There are no dwarves present. Are they going to show? Is Durin going to be able to handle his father and get to his friend to help him out? The elves who are outnumbered, several. I think they had like what, maybe 20 left going against what, about two,
Couple
300.
hundred. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, just see if they can hold out for as long as they can. And where is Galadriel? Where is she off to right now? So.
A lot of key pieces left to be seen. Hopefully, you guys hit that lovely red subscribe button because you love the breakdown and you want to be tuned in for all things geek that we are covering, including more of Supermarket Simulator, My Hero Academia, Agatha All Along, The Penguin, and the Rings of Power Season 2 finale, all coming up in this upcoming week. We've been busy. We're looking forward to seeing you there. We'll see you in the next episode.